Go to this booklet. So we have today, we'll go through the Seder with the different items, how much is needed. Okay, with my bag, I have here the molar. We have it comes in two forms. We have the horseradish. You're familiar with it, so this has to be peeled and grated before Pesach. On Pesach, we do not use a grate for the moror, for the horseradish, so this should be done before. If it was not done before, you could use a knife, but not the grater.
What is?
This is moror.
It's horseradish.
The horseradish for you.
I don't know the translation.
Okay, so this is it.
You know, we put on, they're both just a little red jar of red.
Yes.
It's in a truffle.
Without beef.
No,
Yeah.
Oh,
Well.
okay.
yeah, no beets.
So depending how it was grown, that's how strong it will be. Sometimes it's very strong, it makes you cry. And then we have, at the same time, we also have the romaine lettuce. So both of there are five species that are eligible for moror. So romaine lettuce is one of them, and the horseradish is another. Now with the moror, what I want to do is go through the amounts of how much actually has to be eaten to be considered the proper amount. What I'd like to do first is
What are the other three?
one of them is called endives, but the endive is actually be something that is called to get chicory. Others, I don't know their names.
Okay.
One, two, three. Okay. Oh, okay, if someone could pass this out, what we're going to do is look for bugs. Everyone gets a leaf.
Time for this.
If you locate it, tear up the piece with a bug.
No, take that.
Yeah, it's 17. What if we have a bug in the center?
No caution, no caution.
We should go on.
What you're doing is tear up that piece. I mean, if you're doing the weekdays, what we're going to do is going to wash it. And we're going to get a clean.
No, I don't know, here in the bank over here, and we watch for 100 people, not 400 girls in my campus school, and have this one. It was like, we spent, how long? I don't know. But so maybe now days, full day, I mean like 4 hours, like 6 hours. Yeah. Or something like this. Or 4, yeah, sure. 5 girls watched this. And in cold water. It was cool.
We have
No kosher, no kosher, poo.
also
Very good, the bug off. Sure done. Yeah, there's 6 right here. This is the one. See? Oh, that's a big bug. What's going on? You want to see the bug I found? Remember, tear out the whole piece, not, you can't just take one bug, like the bug. Enjoy.
okay, let's
Yeah, bugs.
how do we do over here? Anyone find anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
No, so pass it back up. We're going to put them in the water. We'll see if those who say that they didn't find anything, we'll see if anything shows up.
You take this bugless piece, thank you. Why is yours sounded warm, Abby? Oh, in my own, fine with you.
Who did find the bug?
I already ripped it off.
Look it up, okay, and can you pass it along so everyone can see what the bug looks like?
Once for a farm.
Yeah, but.
Okay. One who has the bug, could you just pass it around and just
Fine, yeah.
think we can make
Fine,
that?
who wants to look at the bug? Who wants to look? Yes.
What I did was I put the salt in the solution. What I did is I put salt in the solution. The reason I put in the salt is because it will make the leaf slippery. And if there's any bug, it'll slip off. What we also recommend there is the vegetable soap. Idea, same thing, is also makes it slippery. And if it has to do a lot of rinsing, you shouldn't taste the vegetable soap. So it has to have a lot of rinsing to.
You do a lot of rinsing to get the salt taste off.
Yeah, it comes off pretty easily.
How long it should be, so.
So let's see what it says over here. I have here, let me see if I have enough for the class. Okay, if we could, yes, we could share. Anyway, so it says over here, this is the okay. Tells you as follows: remove the outer leaves if they're not clean and discard them. Detach all the leaves from the stem, separate them, soak them in liquid soap for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, agitate them for another 3 minutes, 2 minutes. Empty the basin, take them out, and rinse them under running water. Then put in clean water without soap, and then leave them for another 3 minutes. Remove the leaves, and then check the water to see if there's any dumps floating around. But they tell you to take a fine mesh cloth. I think that would be something that's called cheesecloth,
Yeah.
and pour the water through the cheesecloth. Then you'll have to have another basin. Pour the water through the fine mesh cloth and check the cloth with a strong overhead light. If insects are found, repeat the process again until it's insect free. Start again with the water, with the soap, shake it around. So this is pretty much infested. Didn't come off. You see that it didn't come off when you were putting it under the running water. After checking it for the 3rd time, and there's still insects, throw it out. So to give it another two chances. So that's how they tell you, that's what the okay says to
Rabbi,
do. Yeah.
one time I used the Bud Light.
Mhm.
You don't ever use the Bud Light because it shows every single piece of dirt and then it's so confusing. It's just too much.
So I have, I didn't bring it today, I have a little, this magnifying glass.
Yeah.
You can actually see, if it is a bug, it has feet and a face, and it's really, you could see the difference between dirt and a bug, and you put it under the magnifying glass. Now, let's go to our booklet. In the back of the book, let's see, depending how, let's see. The last page, which is page 82. Let's go back to, it's not 82, it's the page before, it's measurements and suggestions for the Seder. Some pages, some booklets have it different pages. This one has it the last two pages. And it has the measurements. Does everyone have it?
Yes.
The last page, go ahead.
What's the number though? 81.
81, 81, 81. 81, measurements and suggestions for the Seder. 4 cups of wine. 4 cups of wine to be drunk during the Seder by both men and women. Everything of the Seder, men and women are both included. The minimum size for each cup is reveals, a fourth of a log, which is about 3.5 fluid ounces. So, having a cup to begin, we tried to drink the whole cup, so better to get smaller cups so you can drink the entire contents. So here we have the amount of the smallest cup is 3.5 ounces. What cups do you usually use? Well, you have the plastic cups or the ones that are made of glass or metal. So better to get a smaller cup and drink the entire contents than drink I'll take a large cup and to drink the majority. Carapace. That is the vegetable that we dip in salt water. And it should be less than a kazayas of carapace, not more than 1/2 ounce. Very small. So what is the reason why we're having such a small amount? Why are we getting, carapace is the beginning of the Seder, we take a vegetable, we dip it into salt water, we make a borek adama. Why are we looking for a small size? Anyone?
Why we're looking for a small size?
Carapace of the vegetable. What is used for carapace in your Seder that you're familiar with? Carapace, the vegetable that's dipped in, say, onion or potato, okay. Onion or potato for everybody? Okay. Now, why are we looking to eat less than an ounce? What's the reason behind it? Anyone?
Because we can eat a lot of onions. It's not gonna taste.
That's how you use onions. The goal is to eat less than an ounce. A nice hot potato. You're hungry. You're working for the Seder. You'll eat up more than a potato. So anyone the reason? Okay, so now it follows.
Between potato or lettuce now, you said.
So I'm now speaking about the vegetable that is dipped in salt water in the beginning of the Seder.
Potato
Carapace. Or potato or onion or celery to some, whatever it may be. So here we have as follows. As follows it goes. Now, when we make hamotzi, the meal is included in the hamotzi. We do not make a separate bracha, correct?
Right.
Okay. Now, what happens if we have something that is not a part of the meal, and we're eating it during the meal? We make its individual bracha. So, for instance, you're having ice cream at the end of the meal, you make a shahakar. You're having a fruit that's not a part of the meal, you're not having applesauce and bread, but you're having applesauce as a dessert, you make a borei pri ha'etz. So those items that are not a part of the initial meal gets its own bracha. The after bracha, the birkat hamazon, that covers everything that you ate, both the meal and also all the other foods that you ate. You had a cake in the middle, at the end, where the cake was not as part of the meal, but just as a cake. At the end of the meal, you make a borei mini mazonos. The after bracha of birkat hamazon for the bread or challah or matzah includes everything. Now, what's with the maror? We're going to be eating the maror during the Seder. After we washed our hands, we made the hamotzi, we ate the matzah, alachilas matzah, we're eating maror. Is that a part of the meal or is that separate? If it's a part of the meal, we do not get a borei pri ha'adama. If it is separate, it should get its own borei pri ha'adama. This question was not resolved. So how do we settle this? So when we eat the karpas, the vegetable that's going to be dipped in this salt water, we're going to be making borei pri ha'adama. What are we going to have in mind? It's going to be for the vegetable and also for the maror. Since you had it already in mind, this was already covered by the borei pri ha'adama that you made for the karpas that was dipped in the salt water. So that is why we're going to now have in mind when we make borei pri ha'adama for the karpas, for the vegetable dipped in salt water, the potato or the onion, borei pri ha'adama. Now, what happens if you eat something before the meal, before you made the hamotzi, and it's not an appetizer?
For a celery.
If you're going to have something that you're going to be eating before the meal, and it's not an appetizer to give you an appetite, so it's not a part of the meal, so then before you make the hamotzi, you should make an after bracha for the food that you ate. So let's say you're having, what do you eat before you see that there's something that you're eating before the hamotzi? Nuts. Okay, so you ate an ounce of nuts, you made a borei pri ha'etz. Now, before you're going to wash and make the hamotzi, you're going to say a borei nefashos over the nuts that you ate before the meal. So the birkat hamazon is not going to cover it because it's not a part of the meal, unless it's an appetizer.
Okay, it's before celery meat or it's in general in Pesach?
Giving you a general rule. Now we're going to put it now connected to the Seder. Now you had a vegetable before the hamotzi, which was the potato or the onion. How much of it did you eat? If you ate less than an ounce, there is no after bracha. So the blessing is still in effect. The borei pri ha'adama is still in effect. You do not have to make an after bracha, and this borei pri ha'adama is going to cover the maror. If you did eat an ounce, then you have to make an after bracha before the hamotzi. So the hadama that you made was exclusively for the vegetable and not for the maror because you made an after bracha. So what's the solution? You eat less than an ounce. Less than an ounce does not get an after bracha. But the bracha that you made to begin with, that is still in effect. So the borei pri ha'adama is in effect. You do not have to make an after bracha, so therefore the borei pri ha'adama will also cover our maror. So if you're having potatoes, take a little nibble of the potato, take about a half an ounce. Do not take a nice portion of potatoes, even though it's nice and hot and smells delicious, and you are hungry. So that's why if you're using an onion, you're not going to be eating too much unless you love raw onions. So therefore, when you eat an onion, you could control the amount of how much you're actually going to eat. Am I coming across? Well, okay. But again,
Yeah.
those who have the tradition of eating potatoes can continue with the potatoes. Those who have this in mind, they say that it's too much, it's too tempting to eat little. You're just going to keep eating more, so you have to balance it. Yes.
But if you eat less than an ounce, you made a blessing. I know you had it in mind, but now you're gonna be talking in between.
That's all. That's since you make it for that, it's all a part of it's the preparation for. So the time is not a limit. Now, what happens if you did not have in mind, you ate more than a kazayas, you did make an after bracha, and now it comes to the moror. So we do not make a separate bracha. We're trying to cover it, but in halacha, what happens if you didn't have in mind, you did make an after bracha, and you're now up to moror, you just make a borei, or Hashem Krisham says mitzvah ala kilis moror, and you do not make a borei kriyadama beforehand. We're trying to cover it, but if it wasn't covered, it still does not get its own bracha. We're going, because since there is an opinion that says it is a part of the meal, you can't eat the meal, you can't start the meal without the moror, so it's a part of the meal, and therefore it does not get its own bracha. So we try to cover all bases by doing it. Matzah. Matzah is eaten 3 times during the Seder.
I'm sorry, how much more do we eat?
Oh, we eat more than an ounce. We're going to come to moror. Actually, we're going to have it for you. So matzah is eaten 3 times during the Seder. The first time at the beginning of the meal, after reciting the special blessing. This on page 82 of matzah. The initial consumption of matzah is the biblical precept deraisa, thus more stringent, and therefore this initial consumption, one is to use 2 kazesim, 1 kazais of the top matzah, and 1 kazais of the middle broken matzah. However, by biblical precept, only 1 kazais is needed, while the other is rabbinic. So this means 1 kazais is a fraction less than 1 ounce, 25.6 grams. Let's remember though that chewing the matzah, some of the particles will crumble, so will remain between the teeth and not swallowed. One should take a little more than the size. For sure, therefore the terms are to use 28 gram. So machine baked matzah usually is a uniform size and weighs approximately 1.2 ounces or 36 gram. Hand baked matzahs vary in size and density. The average hand baked matzah is 10 by 10 and a half, weighs 2.5 ounces, 3.3 ounces, 66 gram. One kazais is slightly less than 1 ounce. The piece is 5 by 7 in area. If someone finds it difficult to consume 2 kazaisim, one can use the smaller amount of the second kazais, which is the rabbanon, 2/3 of an ounce, 17 gram, thus a third less than the first, 6 by 4. So let's see what that means to us. Let's see. Okay. Good matzah. These are freshly baked rejects. For whatever reason that was rejected. Let's see what we have here. Okay, we have your zeros. Let's see, this is the full matzah. This is 60 gram. So this is 60 gram. So a half a matzah would be 30 gram. We're looking for 28 gram. This is an ounce.
For the first time you eat.
So if you're able to eat 2 ounces, that would be the optimum. That would be what we're looking for. If not, then biblically eating a half a matzah for the first one would be fine. Now we say that if you did the second, let's see what this one is.
Rabbi?
This one said, let's see what this is. No, this and this weigh the same. This is a thicker matzah, this is a thinner matzah. They both are 60 gram. Yes.
2 ounces? What is-
Yes, so we have now, we're going to be eating. The first one is going to be eating, we're going to eat the top, from the top matzah and from the middle matzah. The middle matzah is the broken one. So we have the opinion that says that you should have an ounce from the top and from the middle, which gives us 2 ounces.
You just said 20.
28 gram is an ounce.
Oh.
28 gram is an ounce. If possible, to have 2 ounces, 56 gram, which would be, if this is 60, it's approximately a matzah like this, broken in half. If not, 1 ounce would be sufficient. If eating 2 full ounces, now the rabbinic, this weighs even more than this. I guess it's larger. Okay. Okay. We're all approximately the same weight. So we're going to be eating it 3 times. The first time is the Raisa, is the Torah commandment. The second one is the sandwich. So we take.
Sorry, just the first one is 1 ounce, half, 2 ounces ideally, but half a matzah.
Half a matzah. If it's so depending on how many matzahs you get per pound, that will tell you how much. In other words, you have 16 ounces in a pound. Depending on how many matzahs there are in each pound, that will determine how much it is an ounce. The second time we're going to have the matzah is going to be the sandwich. In the sandwich, we're going to have the maror and the matzah dipped in the charoses, maror dipped in charoses, and this is rabbinic. Since it's rabbinic, we could use a smaller size, so we don't need an ounce. 28 gram. Over here, 19 gram would be sufficient. Here it says 17 and a half, giving a little to how much something will break off. So figure about 19 gram. So let's see how big 19 gram is. This is from this, density, this matzah. Take the size, break it in half, and you have a sandwich. The sandwich. Didn't do too well. Okay, so when we put the maror inside, and you would have our sandwich.
That's about.
Now let's see what's this. It's fine. Let's see what we continuing in our. So the second time we're having the sandwich, which would be a little less than a half a matzah broken in twice to make a sandwich out of it. And so this is rabbinic. You could use 2/3 of an ounce, which is 17 gram or 19 gram. The third time we eat is the afikomen. Again, for the afikomen, that is the korban Pesach, the Passover sacrifice was eaten together with matzah. So you have the Passover sacrifice with the matzah. So you have a matzah representing each. Yes.
When you have this sandwich, you have to eat it plain, like you can't put anything on it, like dressing.
No dressing. Just plain. Just well, what you have if you're going to add what we do is we add some horseradish with the romaine lettuce,
Okay.
and that is both combined to give us our ounce. So we're going to have an ounce of moror. So that's going to be a combination of the two. So you have a lot of horseradish, you can use a smaller leaf. You're just having the leaf. One leaf like this would be sufficient as moror by itself. If you're having horseradish in it, you can get a smaller size. So this itself, the horseradish, you put more horseradish in it, it'll give it flavor, and you'll have it. That will be your dressing. Okay. Now, eating the matzah for afikoman is again so with the afikoman, the afikoman represents the end of the meal, our conclusion of the meal, which is the korban Pesach, the Passover sacrifice, and then the matzah that was eaten with the Passover sacrifice. So we have an ounce representing the Passover sacrifice, an ounce representing the matzah. It would be 2 ounces for afikoman if possible. Again, here we could use the smaller amounts. So it would be less than a half a matzah. If a matzah is 2 ounces, and so it would be what does it tell us? The 2/3 of an ounce, a third less than the first kezitis. It's 6 by 4 inches as they measured it. So in case you cannot eat 2 kezisim at the end of the meal, then 1 kezitis would be sufficient. Depending what your appetite is, how much you eat at the meal itself, will give you room, make some room for the matzah at the end. So this matzah, this covers the amount that is required. So having a size one like this is fine. Let me see with the you must probably use the small one. This one. All the same size. This has more density because of so it weighs more. In some places they will only want to take some households they'll only take the stem itself without the leaf itself because it's too hard to check. And they just get rid of all the leaves and just have the stem, and that they can wash and that they can check in a very short time. In many Chabad, we are careful about, and many other circles as well, we're careful about not to get the matzah wet. So therefore, the moror leaves that are going to be used with the matzah should be dried well. We also dip the moror in charosas, both for the sandwich and both for initially eating the moror. So now let's see what's happening with I did something a no-no, which was I was holding the matzah over this. Now, depending on the season, if it's infested or not, that's the result that you'll get when you're having romaine lettuce. If it's not in season, if it's in season that it's not infestation, before the infestation begins, you're going to get a clean product to begin with. So it matters how it's grown. Sometimes when they have that's bodek, that's already insect-free, some of them will rely on what the season that was grown, that there's a very minimal amount of bugs. You haven't developed yet, it's not yet the time for the bugs. And sometimes it's very infested. So I could not tell at this point if it's a bug or if it's just dirt. But you see a lot of things. This would have to really be washed a second time and see the results. So for this, I would need my magnifying glass. I don't. Maybe there's. Where's my thing? That to do is clean it, yes. Anyway,
Okay, I go stuff this spoon, Rabbi.
so there are bugs here. Just look at the bug. No, it's the same as this one, just a little smaller.
Knock knock, oh,
Okay, coming
you
out.
found bugs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do have bugs and
You do the schmatz method, Rabbi, Baras?
we didn't do that here. I did not bring the cheat code, but I recommended that you do so.
Cheese?
It's a fine.
Right.
I call
Yeah.
it cheese code.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pay for it. So,
Yeah.
okay. So,
Yeah, take your time. We love show. Thank you, Rabbi.
I hope I clarified things. You used to know what a hard letter is. It's gonna help the, it's gonna help the minimal with dogs, it seems to be pretty, it was pretty well.
Do you specifically use the outside leaves because they're more good? Like you don't buy the romaine hearts? Personally.
Oh, yeah, I guess I get this because, yeah, whole letters. Just for the hearts, it would be cleaner, I guess. So.
Yeah.
Again, whatever it says, some people just use the stems itself.
Right. Remember one year we couldn't get, and we used endive.
So with endives, it says chicory, or is it the endives that the Belgian endives, is that really endives or not?
Right.
The question, you say it's called chicory, so that's a different, and that is, I think, even harder than the, that's even harder than the,
That's a big bug over there. You pass it around? Right.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the chicory is harder to check even than the.
That's salt. That's sand.
Yes, that's it.
Oh, salt. Okay.
Oh,
So there used to be something called gush katif lettuce, alei katif. It was very sandy, but it was grown bug free. Oh. Yeah, but then we gave away gush katif. Israel gave it. And that's where the Gazans are shooting all the missiles from instead of us growing lettuce there. Okay. Rabbi Gersh, do you mind if I?
we can start.
Okay. Girls, did you do the mental cough already?
Yeah.
Oh, you did, excellent. Okay, so we're gonna do the next biblical play base. 82. This is decaf. Your last, my lessening of my caffeine intake, yes, okay.
Ooh.
Pay base, needs more, this is for the sake you've been all over the world, particularly my brothers and sisters in Eretz Yisrael, needs more, la'asav, Elohim, nitzav, ba'adas el, b'kerev Elohim, yishvait. Ad masai tishbetu avel, ufanei, v'shayim, tisu sava. Shiftu thou the yasai ani the rash tatsvite. Haltu thou the evyain miyad v'shayim hatzile. Loi yadu v'loi yavinu v'hashecha v'powerful v'maitu kol maiste alet. Ani marti Elohim atem v'v'nei elyain fulkan. Achen ka'adam t'nusan v'fa'achad hatzarim t'kalu. Kuma Elohim Shafta Haaretz, the Ata Sinapal, the following day.